Personal relationships within the crew become increasingly important as men learn to depend on each other for safety and success. The failure of one team member to perform his role properly can result in accidents that injure or kill others. Creating strong incentives for mutual support and assistance, you've developed particular working relationships with Amenhotep, a farmer from a village near your own, and with Kai, an older worker who's returning for his second period of pyramid service. These partnerships help maintain safety while making the demanding work more tolerable through companionship and shared effort. The technical skills required for stone moving continue to develop through practice and instruction. You've learned to read the subtle signs that indicate when ropes are approaching their breaking point, when sledges are beginning to bind against their runners, and when team coordination is deteriorating in ways that could lead to accidents. The physical conditioning required for pyramid work represents perhaps the most dramatic change in your daily experience. The constant heavy labor has altered your body in ways that would have been impossible to achieve through agricultural work. Your muscles have adapted to sustained pulling efforts. Your hands have developed calluses that protect against rope burns, and your cardiovascular system has improved dramatically. But the physical demands also exact their toll. Many workers develop chronic back problems from the constant lifting and pulling. Joint injuries are common, particularly in knees and shoulders that are subjected to stresses far beyond normal agricultural activities. The desert environment contributes additional challenges through heat exhaustion, dehydration, and respiratory problems from constant exposure to stone dust. As your experience with pyramid construction grows, you begin to appreciate the sophisticated technical knowledge that makes the project possible. The techniques used to quarry, transport, and position massive stone blocks represent the pinnacle of ancient engineering achievement, and many aspects of the construction process remain mysterious even to the workers who perform the labor. The quarrying operations that provide limestone for the pyramid take place across the Nile at sites where high-quality stone can be extracted from underground deposits. The quarrying process itself requires specialized skills and tools that most construction workers never see directly. Teams of experienced stonecutters use copper chisels, wooden wedges, and carefully controlled fire to split massive blocks from the bedrock with remarkable precision. The blocks arrive at Giza already cut to approximate dimensions, but they often require additional shaping to achieve the exact specifications needed for their intended positions in the pyramid structure. This finishing work requires master stonecutters who can judge dimensions and angles with accuracy that approaches modern engineering standards. The tools used for stonework represent the best that ancient technology can provide, but they're still primitive by later standards. Copper chisels and mallets can shape limestone effectively, but they're inadequate for working the granite blocks used in the pyramid's inner chambers. Those massive stones require different techniques involving harder tools, abrasive materials, and methods that consume enormous amounts of time and effort. The transportation of the heaviest blocks presents engineering challenges that push ancient technology to its absolute limits. Moving an 80-ton granite block from the harbor to its final position in the pyramid's internal chambers requires techniques and equipment that most workers can only observe from a distance. The sledges used for these enormous loads are engineering marvels in themselves, constructed from carefully selected timbers and reinforced with bronze fittings that can withstand tremendous stresses. The rope systems involve multiple pulleys and leverage points that multiply human pulling power while distributing forces across teams of hundreds of workers. But even with the best equipment and techniques available, moving the largest blocks requires human effort on a scale that's difficult to imagine. Some of the granite blocks that form the pyramid's internal structure require teams of up to 1,000 men working in carefully coordinated sequence to transport them up the construction ramps. You've had opportunities to observe some of these massive transport operations from a distance, and the sight is both impressive and sobering. The coordination required to get 1,000 men pulling in the same direction at the same time represents a logistical challenge that exceeds anything else in the ancient world. The positioning of blocks within the pyramid structure requires precision. That seems impossible given the tools and techniques available to ancient builders. The outer casing stones must fit together so perfectly the joints are virtually invisible, while the internal chambers must be aligned with astronomical accuracy that won't be achieved again until modern times. The mathematical knowledge required for pyramid construction includes sophisticated understanding of geometry, trigonometry, and engineering principles that won't be formally developed in other civilizations for centuries. The pyramid's dimensions and proportions incorporate mathematical relationships that suggest the builders possess knowledge far advanced beyond what contemporary texts reveal. The organizational systems that coordinate the work of tens of thousands of people represent another form of technical achievement that's easy to underestimate. Maintaining adequate supplies of food, water, tools, and materials while coordinating complex construction activities requires administrative skills that rival any modern project. Management system. The record-keeping systems used to track workers, materials, and progress involve sophisticated accounting methods and detailed documentation that allow supervisors to monitor aspects of the construction process. Scribes maintain daily records of stone movements, work assignments, and resource consumption with accuracy that enables precise planning and control. But despite the obvious sophistication of the construction techniques, many aspects of pyramid building remain mysterious even to the workers who perform the labor. The methods used to achieve such precise alignment and positioning often seem to rely on knowledge and techniques that aren't shared with ordinary laborers. You've noticed that certain phases of construction involve specialists who work separately from the general labor force and who use tools and techniques that aren't explained to other workers. These master craftsmen appear to possess knowledge that's passed down through restricted apprenticeship systems rather than being widely shared. The religious and ceremonial aspects of pyramid construction add another layer of complexity that ordinary workers glimpse only occasionally. Certain construction activities are accompanied by rituals and observances that suggest the building process has spiritual significance beyond its practical goals. The integration of practical construction techniques with religious observances and mathematical principles creates a construction process that serves multiple purposes simultaneously. The pyramid functions as a tomb, a religious monument, an astronomical observatory, and a demonstration of royal power, achievements that require coordination between different types of expertise. This combination of practical and theoretical knowledge, religious significance, and political purpose makes pyramid construction unique among ancient building projects. The workers who move the stones contribute essential labor to the project, but they're participating in something much larger and more complex than ordinary construction work. Your 5th week at Giza brings your first direct exposure to the deadly accidents that make pyramid construction the most dangerous occupation in ancient Egypt. The incident occurs during what should have been a routine operation, moving a medium-sized limestone block up one of the construction ramps to the pyramids. Current working level. The block weighs approximately 8 tons, requiring a team of 32 men to drag it up the inclined surface. Your team has moved similar blocks dozens of times without serious problems, and the operation begins normally with careful positioning of the sledge and coordination of the pulling teams. The accident happens when one of the wooden runners beneath the sledge encounters a small depression in the ramp surface. The sudden jolt causes the block to shift slightly on its sledge, changing the balance and creating an unexpected sideways force that the team isn't prepared to handle. Amenhotep, your friend from the neighboring village, is positioned on the left side of the sledge when the block shifts. The movement causes the heavy timber framework to swing toward him faster than he can react. The wooden beam strikes him in the chest with enough force to knock him off the ramp and send him tumbling down the sloped surface. The entire team immediately abandons the ropes to rush to Amenhotep's aid, leaving the sledge to settle back into its depression with a grinding sound that emphasizes how much weight was being controlled by human muscle power alone. Amenhotep lies motionless at the bottom of the ramp, his chest crushed and blood flowing from his mouth and nose. The medical personnel who respond to the accident work efficiently, but without much hope of success. Amenhotep's injuries are too severe for the primitive medical techniques available in ancient Egypt. He dies within minutes, never regaining consciousness, while his fellow workers look on helplessly. The accident investigation that follows reveals no particular negligence or equipment failure. The depression in the ramp surface was too small to detect during normal inspection, and the team had followed proper procedures throughout the operation. Amenhotep's death is classified as an unavoidable accident resulting from the inherent dangers of moving massive weights with primitive equipment. But the incident serves as a brutal reminder of how quickly pyramid construction can turn deadly. The forces involved in moving multi-ton blocks are enormous, and the safety margins are often smaller than they appear. Equipment failures, coordination problems, or simple bad luck can result in fatal accidents with virtually no warning. The psychological impact of witnessing Amenhotep's death affects your entire team for weeks afterward. The man who died was young, strong, experienced, and careful, not someone who took unnecessary risks or ignored safety procedures. If it could happen to him, it could happen to any of the workers who face similar dangers daily. Seneb uses the accident as a teaching opportunity, reviewing safety procedures and emphasizing the importance of constant vigilance when working with heavy stone blocks. But his instruction also includes practical advice about accepting the risks that can't be eliminated through careful procedures. We do everything possible to work safely, he explains. But the stones are heavy, the equipment is imperfect, and accidents will happen. Every man who works on the pyramid knows that he might not return to his village. The question is whether you can do good work while accepting that risk. The accident rate statistics, while not formally recorded in ways that allow precise calculation, appear to be substantial based on conversations with experienced workers. Fatal accidents seem to occur at a rate of several per month, while serious injuries that prevent workers from completing their service happen much more frequently. The most dangerous jobs involve working at height on the upper levels of the pyramid, handling the enormous granite blocks used in internal chambers, and operating in confined spaces where escape is difficult if something goes wrong. Workers assigned to these tasks understand that they face significantly higher risks than those involved in ground-level stone moving. Equipment failures represent a constant source of danger due to the primitive materials and construction techniques used for tools and machinery. Ropes made from plant fibers can break without warning when subjected to extreme loads. Wooden sledges and levers can split or break when stressed beyond their design limits. Bronze and copper tools can shatter when used improperly or when subjected to excessive force. Environmental hazards add another layer of risk to construction work. The desert heat can cause heat exhaustion and dehydration that leads to accidents when workers become dizzy or disoriented. Sandstorms can create visibility problems that make coordination difficult for teams handling heavy loads. Flash floods, while rare, can damage ramps and equipment in ways that create unexpected dangers. the medical care available for injured workers is limited by the knowledge and techniques available in ancient Egypt. Simple injuries like cuts, bruises, and minor broken bones can often be treated effectively. But serious trauma, internal injuries, and complex fractures frequently result in permanent disability or death. The workers' village includes medical personnel who specialize in treating construction injuries, but their capabilities are constrained by the primitive understanding of anatomy and surgical techniques available in ancient times. Pain relief options are limited to alcohol and a few herbal preparations that provide only modest effectiveness. Despite these limitations, the medical staff works hard to treat injured workers and prevent complications that could turn minor injuries into serious problems. They've developed techniques specifically adapted to the types of injuries common in construction work, and their experience with trauma cases exceeds what most ancient physicians ever encounter. The economic consequences of injury or death extend beyond the immediate impact on workers and their families. The Pyramid Project depends on maintaining adequate workforce levels to meet construction schedules, and high accident rates can seriously disrupt progress if replacement workers aren't available. This creates incentives for supervisors to balance safety considerations against productivity demands in ways that sometimes compromise worker welfare. The pressure to maintain construction schedules can lead to shortcuts or risk-taking that increases accident rates, particularly during periods when the project is behind schedule. The workers' village that has grown up around the pyramid construction site represents a unique social environment unlike anything else in ancient Egypt. Thousands of men from across the kingdom live together in temporary circumstances, creating relationships and social structures that bridge normal boundaries of geography, social class, and occupation. Your sleeping quarters house 20 men from different villages throughout Egypt. The group includes farmers like yourself, but also craftsmen, traders, fishermen, and workers from various other occupations who've been selected for pyramid service. The diversity creates opportunities for learning about different regions and ways of life that would normally remain unknown to village farmers. Kamwaset, who sleeps on the platform next to yours, comes from a village near Memphis where his family raises cattle for the royal court. His knowledge of animal husbandry and leather working provides skills that prove useful for maintaining the equipment used in stone-moving operations. In exchange, you've taught him agricultural techniques that he plans to introduce in his home. Village.tjei, an older man who's serving his second period of pyramid duty, worked as a boat builder on the Nile before his selection for construction service. His experience with rope work and wooden construction makes him valuable for maintaining and repairing the sledges and levers used to move stone blocks. His stories of river life provide entertainment during evening conversations. The social relationships that develop in the workers' village help men cope with the stress and dangers of construction work while providing mutual support that extends beyond immediate work teams. Groups of workers from similar backgrounds often form informal associations that share resources, provide assistance during illnesses or injuries, and maintain connections that may last beyond their period of service. These relationships sometimes bridge social distinctions that would be significant under normal circumstances. Men who would never interact as equals in their home villages work side by side and develop friendships based on shared experiences rather than traditional social hierarchies. But the temporary nature of the work assignments also creates social tensions that don't exist in stable communities. Workers from different regions sometimes maintain prejudices and suspicions about each other that can lead to conflicts over work assignments, resource allocation, or social precedence. The competition for better work assignments creates another source of social friction. Workers quickly learn that some jobs are more dangerous, more difficult, or more unpleasant than others. Everyone wants to avoid the worst assignments while gaining access to preferred positions. This competition is complicated by the fact that work assignments are often based on factors beyond individual control: physical strength, previous experience, favoritism by supervisors, or simple chance. Workers who receive dangerous assignments may resent those who are given safer or easier work, even when the selection process is fair. The economic aspects of pyramid service create additional social complications. All workers receive the same basic food and housing, but some opportunities exist for earning additional rewards through exceptional performance or by providing specialized services to supervisors and other workers. Men with valuable skills can sometimes trade their expertise for better treatment, additional food, or small luxuries that aren't available through official channels. Those without special skills must rely entirely on the standard provisions, creating disparities that can cause resentment. The communication systems that connect workers to their home villages provide another source of social differentiation. Workers from areas close to Giza can sometimes receive news from home and send messages to their families. Those from distant regions may have no contact with their families throughout their period of service. The religious practices observed by workers from different regions sometimes conflict in ways that create social tensions. While all Egyptians share basic religious beliefs, local variations in observances and customs can lead to disagreements about proper procedures for various rituals and ceremonies. The supervision structure adds another layer to the social environment by creating relationships between workers and the foreman, scribes, and other officials who coordinate the construction project. These relationships can significantly affect individual workers' experiences, depending on whether they develop positive or negative reputations with supervisory personnel. Experienced workers like Seneb occupy middle positions in this hierarchy that allow them to influence working conditions and assignments for the men under their supervision. Their decisions about work assignments, rest periods, and disciplinary actions can make enormous differences in individual workers' survival and comfort. The priests and medical personnel who serve the workers' village represent higher status individuals whose interactions with ordinary laborers are typically limited to specific professional contexts. But these relationships can become important when workers need medical care or religious guidance during difficult periods. Entertainment and leisure activities help maintain morale and provide relief from the constant stress of dangerous work. Evening conversations, storytelling, simple games, and informal music provide opportunities for social interaction that help workers maintain psychological health. Some workers possess special talents for entertainment that make them popular throughout the village. Storytellers who can recite traditional tales, musicians who can sing and play simple instruments, and comedians who can provide humor despite difficult circumstances contribute significantly to community morale. The absence of women in families creates a social environment unlike any normal Egyptian community. While this eliminates certain sources of social complexity, it also removes many of the relationships and support systems that typically help men cope with stress and difficulty. As your experience with pyramid construction deepens into your 6th week, you begin to notice aspects of the project that aren't immediately apparent to new workers. The pyramid is more than just a massive pile of stone blocks. It's a sophisticated structure that incorporates advanced engineering, astronomical alignment, and hidden chambers that serve purposes beyond simple burial. The precision required for the pyramid's construction becomes more apparent as you work on higher levels of the structure. The blocks must be positioned with accuracy that approaches modern engineering standards, and the overall alignment of the structure must maintain astronomical precision that won't be achieved again until the development of modern surveying instruments. The internal chamber system represents perhaps the most impressive aspect of the pyramid's design. The burial chamber, the grand gallery, and the various passages that connect them are built with granite blocks that weigh up to 80 tons, positioned with precision that seems impossible given the tools and techniques available to ancient builders. You've had limited opportunities to observe work on these internal chambers, but what you've seen suggests construction techniques that are kept secret from ordinary workers. Specialized teams use tools and methods that aren't shared with the general labor force, and their work is supervised by master craftsmen who report directly to the project's chief architects. The Grand Gallery, in particular, represents an engineering achievement that exceeds anything else in the ancient world. The corbelled ceiling rises to a height of nearly 30 feet and spans a length of over 150 feet, all built with precisely fitted granite blocks that have remained stable for millennia. The astronomical alignments incorporated into the pyramid's design suggest knowledge of celestial mechanics that won't be matched by other civilizations for centuries. The structure is oriented to cardinal directions with accuracy that approaches modern surveying standards, and various passages are aligned with specific stars and constellations that held religious significance for ancient Egyptians. The mathematical relationships built into the pyramid's proportions reveal sophisticated understanding of geometry and trigonometry that seems advanced beyond what contemporary texts would suggest. The ratio of the pyramid's height to its base perimeter approximates the mathematical constant pi, suggesting knowledge that won't be formally developed by Greek mathematicians for centuries. The construction techniques used to achieve such precision remain mysterious even to workers who participate in the labor. The methods used to align massive blocks with astronomical accuracy, to cut stones with surfaces flat to within fractions of inches, and to position enormous weights with millimeter precision aren't fully explained to ordinary laborers. Some of the techniques appear to involve knowledge that's restricted to master craftsmen and passed down through carefully controlled apprenticeship systems. These specialists work separately from the general construction teams and use tools and methods that ordinary workers glimpse only occasionally. The quality control systems used to ensure proper construction standards involve inspection procedures that are more rigorous than anything used in other ancient building projects. Teams of specialists examine each block placement, measure alignment and positioning with sophisticated instruments, and reject work that doesn't meet exacting standards. The surveying techniques used to maintain the pyramid's geometric accuracy involve instruments and methods that represent the pinnacle of ancient scientific achievement. The builders use plumb lines, frames, ropes, and other tools with techniques that achieve precision approaching modern standards. The water level systems used for establishing horizontal reference planes represent ingenious applications of engineering, principles that won't be widely used in other civilizations for centuries. These systems allow the builders to maintain level surfaces across enormous distances with accuracy that seems impossible given the available technology. The logistics required to coordinate the construction of such a complex structure involve administrative and organizational skills that rival any modern project management system. Maintaining adequate supplies of materials, coordinating the work of specialized teams, and scheduling construction activities to avoid conflicts require capabilities that exceed most contemporary governments. The record-keeping systems used to track progress and resources involve sophisticated accounting methods that allow supervisors to monitor every aspect of the construction process. Scribes maintain detailed records of stone movements, work assignments, material consumption, and quality control that enable precise planning and control. The integration of practical construction with religious and ceremonial requirements adds another layer of complexity that ordinary workers experience only indirectly. Certain construction activities are accompanied by rituals and observances that suggest the building process has spiritual significance beyond its practical goals. The security measures used to protect construction secrets and prevent unauthorized access to certain areas of the pyramid suggest that some aspects of the project are considered too sensitive to share with ordinary workers. Guards control access to internal chambers and specialized work areas with procedures that emphasize secrecy as well as safety. You've noticed that workers assigned to the most sensitive construction tasks are often selected based on criteria that go beyond technical skills and physical capability. Family connections, regional origins, and personal recommendations seem to play roles in determining who gains access to the project's most closely guarded secrets. The technical knowledge required for the pyramid's construction appears to represent a synthesis of practical engineering, mathematical theory, astronomical observation, and religious doctrine that creates capabilities exceeding what any single discipline could achieve alone. This integration of different types of expertise suggests that the pyramid represents more than just an impressive building project. It's a demonstration of the ancient Egyptian civilization's ability to coordinate knowledge and resources on a scale that won't be matched again for centuries. Your 7th week at Giza marks the halfway point of your corvée service, and you've begun to understand the physical and psychological rhythms that determine whether workers survive their pyramid duty. The men who successfully complete their 4-month assignments share certain characteristics and strategies that distinguish them from those who succumb to accidents, injuries, or exhaustion. Physical conditioning represents the most obvious factor in survival, but it's more complex than simple strength or endurance. The specific demands of stone-moving work require muscle development and cardiovascular adaptation that differ significantly from agricultural labor. Workers who adapt quickly to these demands have better chances of completing their service without serious injury. But equally important is the development of technical skills that reduce the risk of accidents. Learning to read the subtle signs that indicate when equipment is approaching failure, when team coordination is deteriorating, or when working conditions are becoming dangerous can mean the difference between safety and catastrophe. Your ability to work effectively with your team has improved dramatically since those first clumsy attempts to move limestone blocks. You've learned to anticipate your teammates' movements, to maintain proper rope tension during complex maneuvers, and to recognize when someone is struggling with fatigue or illness in ways that could endanger the entire group. The development of these skills requires constant attention and practice, but it also depends on willingness to learn from experienced workers and to accept criticism when mistakes are made. Workers who resist instruction, or who believe they already know everything they need to survive, rarely last long in the dangerous environment of pyramid construction. Psychological adaptation proves equally crucial for survival. The constant exposure to danger, the physical demands of heavy labor, and the social stress of living in crowded conditions with thousands of other workers create mental health challenges that can be as deadly as physical injuries. Men who maintain positive relationships with their teammates and supervisors tend to receive better treatment and assistance when they encounter difficulties. Social isolation, conflicts with other workers, or negative relationships with foremen can result in dangerous work assignments or inadequate support during emergencies. The ability to cope with fear represents another essential psychological skill. Every worker on the pyramid faces daily reminders that death or serious injury can occur without warning. Those who become paralyzed by anxiety or who take reckless chances to overcome their fears create dangers for themselves and their teammates. Finding the right balance between reasonable caution and necessary risk-taking requires experience and judgment that develop gradually through exposure to dangerous situations. Workers who learn to assess risks accurately and to take appropriate precautions without becoming overly fearful have the best chances of surviving their pyramid service. The management of physical resources, energy, strength, and health becomes a crucial survival skill in the demanding environment of construction work. Workers must learn to pace themselves during long work periods, to conserve energy for the most demanding tasks, and to recognize when they're approaching the limits of their physical capabilities. Proper nutrition and hydration prove more important than many workers initially realize. The physical demands of stone moving combined with the desert environment create caloric and fluid requirements that exceed normal agricultural work. Workers who don't consume adequate food and water quickly develop problems that affect their performance and safety. Sleep quality becomes another critical factor in survival. The crowded conditions in workers' quarters, the physical discomfort from demanding labor, and the psychological stress of dangerous work can all interfere with the rest that's essential for maintaining health and alertness. Workers who develop effective strategies for getting adequate sleep despite difficult conditions tend to maintain better physical and mental health throughout their service period. Those who suffer from chronic sleep deprivation become increasingly prone to accidents and illnesses that can end their pyramid careers prematurely. The maintenance of personal equipment represents another survival skill that isn't immediately obvious to new workers. Proper care of tools, clothing, and personal items can prevent problems that would otherwise require difficult replacements or repairs. Developing positive relationships with medical personnel can prove crucial when injuries or illnesses occur. Workers who are known to medical staff as reliable and cooperative often receive better care and more attention than those who are perceived as troublemakers or milingers. Understanding the informal social and economic systems that operate within the workers' village can provide access to resources and opportunities that aren't available through official channels. Workers who learn to navigate these systems effectively can sometimes obtain better food, tools, or work assignments. The ability to maintain connections with home villages can provide psychological support that helps workers cope with the stress and isolation of pyramid service. Men who receive news from their families and who can send messages home tend to maintain better morale throughout their service period. Perhaps most importantly, successful workers learn to find meaning and satisfaction in their labor despite the dangers and difficulties involved. Men who view their pyramid service as an opportunity to participate in something historically significant tend to maintain better motivation and morale than those who see it only as a burden to be endured. The construction of Pharaoh Khufu's pyramid represents one of humanity's most ambitious projects, and workers who take pride in their contribution to this achievement often find the psychological strength necessary to overcome the physical and mental challenges of their service. Your 8th week brings an unexpected opportunity to observe. Work on the pyramid's internal chamber system, the complex network of passages, rooms, and galleries that will house Pharaoh Khufu's burial and the religious ceremonies associated with his afterlife. This glimpse into the most technically demanding aspects of pyramid construction reveals engineering challenges that exceed anything involved in the external stonework. The opportunity arises when your team is assigned to assist with moving some of the smaller granite blocks that will be used in the internal passages. While you're not permitted to work directly on chamber construction, you're able to observe the specialized techniques used by the master craftsmen who handle this most critical aspect of the project. The internal chamber system consists of 3 main components: the underground chamber carved into the bedrock beneath the pyramid, the Queen's chamber located within the pyramid's masonry structure, and the King's chamber positioned at the heart of the completed monument. These rooms are connected by a network of passages and galleries that incorporate engineering features not found anywhere else in the ancient world. The King's Chamber represents the most impressive achievement of ancient engineering. The room will be built entirely from red granite transported from quarries near Aswan, over 500 miles to the south. Each granite block weighs between 25 and 80 tons, requiring transportation and positioning techniques that push ancient technology to its absolute limits. Moving these enormous granite blocks from the Nile harbor to their positions within the pyramid requires construction techniques that are kept strictly secret from ordinary workers. You observe teams of specialists using equipment and methods that differ significantly from the rope and sledge systems used for limestone construction. The granite blocks travel on massive sledges built from specially selected timbers and reinforced with bronze fittings that can withstand the tremendous stresses involved. These sledges are so large and heavy that they require teams of several hundred men to move them even when empty. The ramp systems used for granite transport are also different from those used for limestone blocks. The ramps must be wider and stronger to accommodate the enormous sledges, and they must be surfaced with stone rather than earth to provide adequate traction for the massive loads. But perhaps most impressive are the lifting and positioning techniques used to place granite blocks within the confined spaces of the pyramid's internal structure. The Grand Gallery, which will eventually provide access to the King's Chamber, is designed to function as a sophisticated lifting device that uses counterweight systems and mechanical advantage to move enormous weights vertically. The Grand Gallery itself represents an engineering marvel that won't be matched until the development of modern construction techniques. The corbelled ceiling rises to a height of nearly 30 feet and incorporates precisely positioned slots and niches that will house the ropes and pulleys used to lift granite blocks to their final positions. The mathematical precision required for internal chamber construction exceeds even the demanding standards used for external stonework. The chamber walls must be perfectly vertical, the ceilings must be perfectly horizontal, and the overall dimensions must conform to sacred proportions that incorporate religious and astronomical significance. The quality control procedures used for granite work involve inspection standards that are even more rigorous than those applied to limestone construction. Each block must be positioned with millimeter accuracy, and the surfaces must be finished to standards that won't be achieved again until the development of modern machine tools. The tools used for granite work represent the finest that ancient technology can provide. Copper and bronze chisels are inadequate for shaping granite, so the craftsmen use harder materials and abrasive techniques that consume enormous amounts of time and effort. Some evidence suggests the use of iron tools that won't become common. In Egypt for centuries, the religious and ceremonial aspects of chamber construction add complexity that goes beyond pure engineering considerations. Certain construction activities must be performed according to religious calendars and astronomical alignments. Specific rituals and observances accompany various phases of the work. The security measures surrounding chamber construction are also more stringent than those applied to external work. Access to internal construction areas is restricted to workers who have been specifically selected for reliability and discretion. The techniques and procedures used are not shared with ordinary laborers. You notice that workers assigned to chamber construction often remain on these assignments for extended periods, rather than rotating to different tasks like most pyramid laborers. This suggests that the skills required are highly specialized, and that training replacement workers would be difficult and time-consuming. The master craftsmen who supervise chamber construction represent the elite of ancient Egyptian artisans. Their knowledge and skills have been developed through decades of experience with the most demanding construction challenges. Their techniques incorporate understanding of engineering mathematics, astronomy, and religious doctrine that won't be matched again for centuries. The coordination required between chamber construction and external pyramid building involves logistics that rival any modern project management challenge. The internal work must proceed in careful synchronization with external construction to ensure that access routes remain available and that structural integrity is maintained. The chamber construction schedule is determined by factors that go beyond simple construction efficiency. Religious requirements, astronomical alignments, and ceremonial considerations all influence the timing of various construction activities in ways that sometimes conflict with purely practical concerns. Despite these complications, the chamber construction proceeds with remarkable precision and efficiency. The master craftsmen have developed techniques and procedures that allow them to achieve results that seem impossible given the limitations of ancient technology and knowledge. The brief exposure to chamber construction provides new appreciation for the scope and complexity of the pyramid project. The external stonework that occupies most workers represents only one aspect of a much larger undertaking that incorporates engineering, mathematics, astronomy, and religious doctrine in ways that create capabilities exceeding what any single discipline could achieve alone. Your 9th week at Giza brings the physical and psychological challenges that separate workers who will successfully complete their corvée service from those who will succumb to the accumulated stress of pyramid construction. The halfway point of the 4-month assignment represents a critical period when initial enthusiasm has worn off, but the end still seems impossibly distant. The cumulative effects of heavy physical labor begin to show in ways that weren't apparent during the first weeks of service. Chronic back pain from constant lifting and pulling becomes a daily reality for most workers. Joint injuries, particularly in knees and shoulders, accumulate from repetitive motions under heavy loads. Hand injuries from rope work become infected or develop into chronic problems that affect work capability. The psychological challenges prove equally demanding. The constant exposure to danger, the monotonous routine of heavy labor, and the social stress of living in crowded conditions with thousands of other workers create mental health problems that can be as disabling as physical injuries. Homesickness becomes a significant problem for many workers as the reality of extended separation from families and communities begins to affect daily motivation and emotional stability. Men who initially adapted well to pyramid life begin to show signs of depression and anxiety that affect their work performance and safety. The social tensions within the workers' village also intensify as the initial novelty of meeting people from other regions gives way to irritation with habits, customs, and behaviors that differ from familiar patterns. Competition for better work assignments and living conditions creates conflicts that can escalate into serious disputes. Your own experience includes all of these challenges in varying degrees. The physical demands of stone moving have conditioned your body in ways that seemed impossible during your first week, but they've also created chronic aches and minor injuries that serve as constant reminders of the costs of pyramid service. The psychological adaptation has been more difficult than the physical conditioning. The fear of serious injury or death never completely disappears, creating a constant background of anxiety that affects sleep, concentration, and decision-making. The separation from your family weighs more heavily as time passes, and the end of service still seems far away. But you've also discovered personal capabilities and sources of strength that wouldn't have been apparent under normal village circumstances. The extreme challenges of pyramid construction have forced development of physical and mental toughness that extends far beyond anything required for agricultural work. The relationships formed with other workers have provided support systems that help cope with the stress and isolation of pyramid service. The bonds created through shared danger and mutual dependence often prove stronger than relationships developed under normal social circumstances. The sense of participating in something historically significant provides motivation that helps overcome the immediate difficulties of construction work. The knowledge that you're contributing to a monument that will last for millennia gives meaning to the daily struggles with heavy stones and dangerous working conditions. The technical skills developed through weeks of practice with stone moving equipment have created competence and confidence that carry over into other aspects of work and life. The precision required for coordinating team efforts under dangerous conditions develops leadership and communication abilities that have value beyond pyramid construction. The survival strategies that prove most effective during this critical period involve finding balance between pushing personal limits and avoiding unnecessary risks. Workers who drive themselves beyond their physical capabilities often suffer injuries that end their service prematurely. But those who become overly cautious may not develop the skills and conditioning necessary for safe and effective work. Maintaining positive relationships with teammates and supervisors becomes increasingly important as the pressures of extended service create opportunities for conflicts and misunderstandings. Workers who isolate themselves or who develop reputations for being difficult often find themselves assigned to more dangerous tasks or excluded from the mutual support systems that help others survive difficult periods. The management of personal resources, physical energy, emotional stability, and social connections require strategic thinking about long-term goals rather than simply responding to immediate challenges. Workers who plan for the duration of their service tend to pace themselves more effectively than those who focus only on getting through each individual day. The medical care available for workers becomes more important as accumulated injuries and health problems begin to affect larger numbers of people. The medical staff has developed considerable expertise in treating construction-related injuries, but their capabilities are limited by the primitive understanding of anatomy and treatment techniques available in ancient times. The economic aspects of pyramid service also become more significant as workers begin to think about returning home and resuming their normal lives. The skills and experiences gained through pyramid construction may provide opportunities for better employment or social advancement, but they may also create expectations and perspectives that are difficult to reconcile with village life. Some workers begin to consider extending their pyramid service beyond the required 4-month period. The opportunities for advancement, the relatively good working conditions compared to agricultural labor, and the social connections developed at Giza can make pyramid work attractive despite its dangers and difficulties. Your 10th week at Giza brings assignment to one of the most prestigious and dangerous tasks available to ordinary workers, helping to position the massive granite blocks that will form the ceiling of the king's chamber. This assignment represents both recognition of your demonstrated competence and reliability, and exposure to the most technically demanding and hazardous work on the entire pyramid project. The granite blocks destined for the king's chamber ceiling weigh between 40 and 70 tons each, far heavier than any stones you've worked with previously. Moving these enormous weights requires construction techniques that represent the absolute pinnacle of ancient engineering achievement. The team assigned to this work includes only the most experienced and reliable workers from the entire pyramid workforce. Seneb will serve as one of several foremen coordinating the operation, while the overall supervision is provided by master craftsmen who report directly to the pyramid's chief architect. The transport route for these massive blocks leads from the Nile harbor through a complex series of ramps and passages that eventually reach the Grand Gallery, where the final lifting operations will take place. Each stage of the journey requires specialized equipment and techniques that have been developed specifically for handling these exceptional loads. The sledges used for granite Transport are engineering marvels that push ancient woodworking technology to its limits. Built from massive timbers and reinforced with bronze fittings, these sledges are so large and heavy that they require teams of several hundred men to move them even when empty. Your role in the transport operation involves working as part of a rope team responsible for controlling the sledge's movement during the most critical phases of the journey. The coordination required for managing forces of this magnitude exceeds anything in your previous experience. The first granite block that your team transports weighs approximately 50 tons and measures roughly 12 feet long, 8 feet wide, and 4 feet thick. Moving this enormous weight up the pyramid's internal ramps requires a team of over 400 men working in carefully coordinated sequence. The operation begins before dawn with extensive preparation and safety briefings. Every aspect of the transport route is inspected and cleared of potential obstacles. The rope systems are checked and tested to ensure they can withstand the tremendous forces involved. Emergency procedures are reviewed with all participants. The initial movement of the loaded sledge requires the coordinated effort of the entire team pulling in perfect synchronization. The margin for error is essentially zero. Any loss of coordination or equipment failure could result in catastrophic accident that would kill or injure dozens of workers. The granite block moves slowly up the internal ramps, traveling perhaps 50 feet during each carefully coordinated effort. The team must rest frequently to prevent exhaustion that could lead to coordination problems, and the entire operation must be suspended during the hottest parts of the day when heat exhaustion becomes a serious risk. The most challenging part of the transport occurs when the sledge reaches the Grand Gallery, where the granite block must be lifted vertically to its final position in the king's chamber ceiling. This operation uses counterweight systems and mechanical advantage techniques that represent some of the most sophisticated engineering in the ancient world. The Grand Gallery itself functions as a massive lifting device with precisely positioned slots and niches that house the ropes and pulleys used to raise enormous weights. The corbelled ceiling provides the vertical clearance necessary for the lifting operations, while the sloped floor allows sledges to be positioned for optimal mechanical advantage. The actual lifting operation requires coordination between multiple teams working on different levels of the pyramid structure. Workers in the Grand Gallery control the primary lifting ropes, while teams above and below provide additional support and guidance to ensure precise positioning. The granite block must be lifted approximately 20 feet vertically and then maneuvered horizontally into its exact position in the chamber ceiling. The precision required for this operation approaches modern engineering standards. The block must be positioned with millimeter accuracy to ensure proper fit with adjacent stones. The completion of each granite placement requires several days of intense effort by hundreds of skilled workers. The physical demands are extreme, the technical challenges are enormous, and the safety risks are unprecedented. But the successful positioning of each massive block brings the pyramid closer to completion and demonstrates the remarkable capabilities of ancient Egyptian engineering that your participation in these operations provides. Insights into construction techniques that are normally restricted to the most elite workers on the pyramid project. The methods used represent the culmination of centuries of development in ancient engineering, and they incorporate knowledge and skills that won't be matched again until the development of modern construction technology. The religious and ceremonial aspects of granite placement add another layer of complexity to the already demanding technical requirements. Certain placement operations must be performed according to astronomical alignments and religious calendars. Specific rituals and observances accompany various phases of the work. The security measures surrounding these operations are also more stringent than those applied to ordinary construction work. Access to the internal construction areas is strictly controlled, and the techniques used are not shared with workers who don't have specific need to know them. But despite the restrictions and complications, the granite placement operations proceed with remarkable efficiency and precision. The master craftsmen who supervise these activities have developed techniques that allow them to achieve results that seem impossible given the limitations of ancient technology. The experience of working on chamber construction provides new appreciation for the scope and ambition of Pharaoh Khufu's pyramid project. The monument represents more than just an impressive pile of stone blocks. It's a sophisticated architectural and engineering achievement that incorporates advances in multiple fields of knowledge. Your 11th week at Giza brings the first serious discussions about the end of your corvée service and the prospect of returning home to meet him. With only 3 weeks remaining in your 4-month assignment, workers throughout the construction site begin preparing psychologically and practically for the transition back to their normal lives. The anticipation of return creates mixed emotions that surprise you with their complexity. While you've missed your family and your village throughout your pyramid service, you've also adapted to the rhythms and relationships of construction life in ways that make the prospect of leaving somewhat melancholy. The skills and physical conditioning developed through weeks of demanding construction work have changed you in fundamental ways that will affect your entire future life. The technical knowledge of stone moving, rope work, and construction techniques could provide opportunities for employment on other building projects throughout Egypt. The social relationships formed with workers from across the kingdom have expanded your understanding of Egyptian society beyond anything possible through village life alone. The friendships developed through shared danger and mutual dependence often prove deeper and more meaningful than relationships formed under normal circumstances. The sense of participating in historically significant achievement provides satisfaction that helps compensate for the dangers and difficulties of pyramid construction. The knowledge that you've contributed to a monument that will last for millennia gives meaning to the sacrifices involved in pyramid service. But the anticipation of reunion with family and the familiar rhythms of agricultural life also creates excitement that grows stronger as the end of service approaches. The letters that occasionally reach workers from their home villages provide tantalizing glimpses of the life that awaits beyond pyramid construction. Your wife, Nefret, has sent word that the harvest was successful and that your children remain healthy and eager for your return. The village has experienced the normal cycle of births, deaths, and seasonal activities that mark rural Egyptian life. Your fields await your attention, and your family needs your labor and leadership. The transition from pyramid construction to agricultural life will require adjustments that may prove more difficult than the original adaptation to construction work. The physical demands of farming are less intense than stone moving, but they require different muscle groups and movement patterns that may take time to remaster. The social environment of village life will seem constrained and limited after months of interacting with thousands of workers from throughout Egypt. The variety and complexity of pyramid construction will make agricultural work seem simple and repetitive, even though farming involves its own forms of expertise and challenge. The economic implications of pyramid service extend beyond the immediate compensation provided by royal authorities. The skills and experiences gained through construction work may provide opportunities for better employment or social advancement that weren't available before corvée service. Some workers are already discussing the possibility of remaining at Giza beyond their required service period. The pyramid project will continue for decades, requiring skilled workers who understand the specialized techniques of monumental construction. The opportunities for advancement and the relatively good working conditions make extended pyramid service attractive despite its dangers. Others are considering employment on other royal construction projects throughout Egypt. The building programs of Pharaoh Khufu and his successors will require experienced workers for pyramids, temples, and other monuments. The skills developed at Giza are transferable to these projects and provide economic opportunities not available to ordinary agricultural workers. But the majority of workers, including yourself, plan to return to their home villages and resume their traditional occupations. The corvée system is designed to provide temporary labor for royal projects, while maintaining the agricultural workforce that sustains Egyptian society. The final weeks of pyramid service involve completing current assignments while beginning the administrative processes required for departure. Workers must account for tools and equipment that have been issued to them, receive final medical examinations, and complete the documentation required for official discharge. The work assignments during these final weeks often focus on finishing tasks rather than beginning new major projects. Workers help complete stone placements that are already in progress, assist with cleanup and organization activities, and provide support for the continuing construction that will continue after their departure. The pace of work remains demanding, but there's a sense of winding down as both workers and supervisors recognize that the end of the corvée period is approaching. The urgency and intensity that characterized earlier weeks gives way to a more reflective atmosphere as people prepare for major life transitions. The medical examinations required for departure reveal the toll that pyramid construction has taken on workers' bodies. Most men show evidence of the demanding physical labor, calloused hands, developed muscles, and minor injuries that will heal after return to less strenuous work. But some workers have suffered more serious injuries or health problems that will affect their long-term capabilities. Back injuries, joint problems, and respiratory issues from stone dust exposure represent permanent consequences of pyramid service that will influence their future lives. The documentation required for departure includes records of work performance, disciplinary actions, and health status that may affect future opportunities for royal service. Workers who have performed well and avoided serious problems receive positive evaluations that could be valuable for future employment. Your 12th week brings reflection on the extraordinary educational value of pyramid construction service. Despite the physical demands and dangers involved, the experience has provided knowledge and skills that would be impossible to acquire through any other means available to ordinary Egyptians. The technical education begins with basic understanding of construction principles, how massive weights can be moved using primitive tools, how complex projects can be coordinated across thousands of workers, and how precision engineering can be achieved using ancient techniques. These skills have applications far beyond pyramid construction. The mathematical knowledge required for pyramid work includes practical geometry, measurement techniques, and calculation methods that exceed anything taught in normal Egyptian education. Workers learn to calculate angles, estimate weights, and measure distances with accuracy that approaches professional surveying standards. The engineering principles demonstrated through pyramid construction provide insights into mechanical advantage, structural stability, and material properties that represent the pinnacle of ancient scientific knowledge. Workers develop intuitive understanding of physics concepts that won't be formally theorized. For centuries, the organizational skills required for coordinating complex construction activities provide valuable experience in project management, resource allocation, and team leadership. These capabilities have applications in agriculture, trade, and other occupations that require coordination of multiple people and activities. The social education provided by pyramid service includes exposure to people from throughout Egypt with different backgrounds, customs, and perspectives. This experience broadens understanding of Egyptian society beyond what's possible through village life. Alone, the cultural knowledge gained through interaction with workers from different regions includes awareness of local traditions, religious practices, and social customs that vary throughout the kingdom. This understanding provides valuable perspective on the diversity and complexity of Egyptian civilization. The historical education involves direct participation in one of humanity's most significant construction projects. Workers develop appreciation for the scope of royal power, the capabilities of ancient engineering, and the human costs involved in creating monuments that will endure for millennia. The religious education includes exposure to the spiritual beliefs and ceremonial practices associated with pyramid construction. Workers learn about the religious significance of royal burial, the astronomical alignments incorporated into pyramid design, and the ritual requirements that govern various construction activities. The medical knowledge acquired through pyramid service includes practical understanding of injury treatment, disease prevention, and health maintenance under demanding physical conditions. The medical staff at Giza includes some of Egypt's most experienced physicians, and workers benefit from their expertise. The economic education involves understanding the resource requirements and logistical challenges of massive construction projects. Workers learn about the movement of materials across vast distances, the coordination of specialized crafts, and the administrative systems required for managing complex enterprises. The technological education includes exposure to the most advanced tools, techniques, and equipment available in ancient Egypt. Workers learn to use sophisticated rope systems, precision measuring instruments, and construction machinery that represents the pinnacle of contemporary technology. The problem-solving skills developed through pyramid work include the ability to analyze complex challenges, develop innovative solutions, and implement effective responses under pressure. These capabilities have value for any occupation that involves technical challenges or resource constraints. The quality control education includes understanding the inspection procedures, measurement standards, and performance requirements used for monumental construction. Workers learn to recognize acceptable workmanship and to maintain standards that ensure structural integrity and aesthetic excellence. The safety education involves learning to recognize and avoid the numerous hazards associated with construction work. Workers develop awareness of equipment limitations, environmental dangers, and procedural requirements that minimize accident risks. The leadership education includes opportunities to supervise other workers, coordinate team activities, and make decisions under pressure. Workers who demonstrate competence and reliability often receive progressively greater responsibilities that develop management skills. The communication skills required for effective teamwork include the ability to give and receive instructions clearly, to coordinate activities with diverse groups of people, and to maintain effective relationships under stressful conditions. The physical education involved in pyramid construction develops strength, endurance, and coordination that exceed anything achievable through normal agricultural work. Workers develop physical capabilities that provide advantages for any occupation requiring manual labor. But perhaps most valuable is the psychological education that comes from successfully completing one of the most challenging assignments available to ordinary Egyptians. Workers develop confidence, resilience, and self-knowledge that influence their entire future lives. The knowledge that you've survived the dangers and demands of pyramid construction provides psychological strength that helps with any future challenges. The experience proves that ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things when they're willing to work hard and accept reasonable risks. The understanding gained of your own capabilities and limitations provides valuable self-knowledge that influences future decisions about career choices, family responsibilities, and personal goals. Pyramid service reveals personal qualities that might never be discovered under normal village circumstances. The perspective gained on human achievement and historical significance provides intellectual satisfaction that enriches life beyond. Immediate practical concerns. Workers understand that they've participated in creating something that will be remembered and admired for thousands of years. Your 13th week at Giza brings the bittersweet realization that your pyramid service is nearly complete, but also the sobering knowledge that some of your fellow workers will never return home. The final weeks of corvée duty reveal both the achievements and the human costs of Pharaoh Khufu's monumental construction project. The casualty statistics, while not formally recorded in ways that allow precise calculation, become impossible to ignore as workers prepare for departure. Of the 43 men from your village and surrounding areas who began pyramid service together 4 months ago, 37 will return home. 6 have died in construction accidents or from injuries and illnesses related to the demanding work. Amenhotep, your friend who was killed in the sledge accident during your 5th week, represents just one of the human costs that make pyramid construction possible. The other deaths in your group include men who succumbed to heat exhaustion, who were crushed by falling stones, who died from infected injuries, and who simply collapsed from the accumulated stress of demanding physical labor. The survival rate. For your group, approximately 85%, appears typical based on conversations with experienced supervisors and workers who've completed multiple terms of pyramid service. The most dangerous assignments, particularly those involving work at height or handling the enormous granite blocks, show significantly higher casualty rates. But the statistics don't capture the full human impact of pyramid construction. Many workers who survive their service carry permanent injuries that will affect their remaining lives. Back problems, joint damage, respiratory issues from stone dust, and psychological trauma represent ongoing consequences that extend far beyond the 4-month corvée period. Your own health has suffered in ways that are typical for pyramid workers. Chronic back pain from months of heavy lifting and pulling will probably persist for years. Minor injuries to hands, knees, and shoulders have healed, but left weaknesses that may cause problems during future physical labor. The psychological impact of witnessing deaths and serious injuries, combined with the constant stress of dangerous work, has created mental health changes that are difficult to assess but impossible to ignore. Sleep problems, anxiety about physical safety, and difficulty concentrating represent common symptoms among pyramid workers. But the negative consequences must be balanced against the significant benefits that pyramid service has provided. The skills and knowledge gained through construction work create opportunities for better employment and social advancement. The physical conditioning developed through demanding labor provides health benefits that may last for years. The relationships formed with workers from throughout Egypt have created social connections that extend far beyond the vast umbrella. Pyramid construction. Site. These networks may provide opportunities for trade, employment, or mutual assistance that wouldn't be available to ordinary village farmers. The sense of achievement that comes from participating in historically significant construction provides psychological satisfaction that helps compensate for the hardships endured. The knowledge that you've contributed to creating one of humanity's most impressive monuments gives meaning to the sacrifices involved. The final work. Assignments focus on completing current projects rather than beginning new major undertakings. Workers help finish stone placements that are already in progress, assist with cleanup and organization activities, and provide support for the continuing construction that will proceed after their departure. The administrative procedures required for departure begin during the 13th week with medical examinations, tool accountability, and documentation of work performance. The process is designed to ensure that departing workers receive proper compensation while preventing theft of valuable tools and equipment. The medical examinations reveal the toll that pyramid construction has taken on workers' bodies while providing treatment for injuries and illnesses that might worsen without attention. The medical staff at Giza includes experienced physicians who've developed considerable expertise in treating construction-related health problems. The tool accountability procedures require workers to return equipment that has been issued to them while accounting for items that have been lost, broken, or worn out during service. Workers who can't account for missing tools may have compensation deducted from their final payments. The work performance documentation includes evaluations by supervisors that record each worker's reliability, skill development, and disciplinary history. These records may influence future opportunities for royal service or employment on other construction projects. The compensation provided for pyramid service includes both immediate payment and longer-term benefits that extend beyond the corvée period. Workers receive wages that are modest but significant by village standards, along with the food and housing provided during their service. More valuable than immediate monetary compensation are skills, knowledge, and social connections developed through pyramid construction. These benefits may provide opportunities for economic advancement that far exceed the immediate wages received for corvée service. The final week of service includes ceremonial activities that recognize workers' contributions to the pyramid project, while preparing them psychologically for return to their normal lives. These observances help provide closure for an experience that has fundamentally changed most participants. Religious ceremonies acknowledge the spiritual significance of pyramid construction while seeking divine protection for workers as they return to their families and communities. Priests conduct rituals that honor the contributions made to Pharaoh Khufu's eternal monument. Social gatherings provide opportunities for workers to maintain the relationships formed during their service while exchanging information about home, villages, and future plans. Many workers establish ongoing connections that will influence their lives for years to come. Your 14th and final week at Giza provides time for reflection on how profoundly the pyramid construction experience has changed you as a person. The young farmer who left Meedham 4 months ago bears little resemblance to the experienced construction worker who will soon return home with skills, knowledge, and perspectives that were unimaginable before corvée service. The physical transformation is immediately apparent to anyone familiar with agricultural labor. Months of moving massive stone blocks have developed muscle groups and cardiovascular conditioning that exceed anything achievable through farming. Your hands show the calluses and scars of rope work, while your posture reflects adaptation to the specific demands of construction labor. But the changes extend far beyond physical conditioning to include technical skills that represent valuable economic assets. You understand construction principles, measurement techniques, and coordination methods that have applications throughout Egyptian society. These capabilities could provide opportunities for employment on other building projects, supervisory roles in agricultural activities, or advancement within village social hierarchies. The social transformation may prove even more significant than the technical education. 4 months of working with men from throughout Egypt has expanded your understanding of the kingdom's diversity and complexity beyond anything possible through village life alone. You've formed relationships with people from different regions, occupations, and social backgrounds that provide perspectives on Egyptian society that most farmers never acquire. The leadership experience gained through pyramid construction includes opportunities to coordinate team activities, make decisions under pressure, and earn recognition from supervisors and fellow workers. These experiences have revealed personal capabilities that might never have been discovered under normal village circumstances. The psychological transformation includes increased confidence, resilience, and self-knowledge that result from successfully completing one of the most challenging assignments available to ordinary Egyptians. The knowledge that you've survived the dangers and demands of pyramid construction provides inner strength that will influence all future challenges. The intellectual transformation includes mathematical knowledge, engineering principles, and problem-solving skills that represent education far superior to anything normally available to agricultural workers. You understand measurement techniques, geometric relationships, and construction methods that incorporate some of ancient Egypt's most advanced knowledge. The cultural transformation includes exposure to religious practices, artistic traditions, and social customs from throughout the kingdom. The pyramid construction site serves as a meeting place for Egypt's diverse regional cultures, providing educational opportunities that broaden understanding of the civilization's richness and complexity. The historical transformation involves direct participation in creating one of humanity's most enduring monuments. You've witnessed construction techniques that won't be matched for centuries, participated in engineering achievements that will influence architecture for millennia, and contributed to a project that will be remembered as long as human civilization exists. But the transformation also includes awareness of costs and sacrifices that make monumental construction possible. You've witnessed deaths and injuries that represent the human price of royal ambition. You understand the enormous resource requirements and social disruption involved in creating monuments that serve primarily symbolic rather than practical purposes. This knowledge provides perspective on royal power and social organization that most Egyptians never acquire. You understand how thousands of ordinary people can be coordinated to achieve extraordinary results. But you also understand the individual costs involved in such achievements. The economic transformation includes not only immediate compensation for pyramid service, but also enhanced capabilities that may provide advantages throughout your remaining life. The skills and connections developed through construction work create opportunities that weren't available to ordinary farmers before corvée service. The return journey to Medum will reverse the process that brought you to Giza 4 months ago, but you'll be traveling as a fundamentally different person. The boat ride down the Nile will provide opportunity to observe familiar landscapes with eyes that have seen the most impressive construction project in human history. The reunion with family will involve not only emotional satisfaction, but also practical adjustments as you reintegrate into village life after months of adaptation to construction routines. Your wife and children have continued their lives during your absence, and they may find that you've changed in ways that affect family relationships and social dynamics. The agricultural work that awaits your return will seem simple and straightforward, compared to the complex coordination required for moving massive stone blocks. But farming also involves its own forms of expertise and seasonal rhythms that may require readjustment. After months of construction labor, the village social environment will seem constrained and limited after exposure to the diversity and complexity of pyramid construction. The conversations and concerns that occupy village life may seem trivial compared to the monumental achievements you've witnessed and helped create. But village life offers security, stability, and family relationships that provide satisfactions unavailable in the temporary environment of construction work. The familiar rhythms of agricultural seasons and the intimate knowledge of local landscapes provide forms of contentment that complement rather than compete with the achievements of pyramid service. The integration of pyramid experience with village life will require balance between maintaining the skills and perspectives gained through construction work while readapting to the requirements and opportunities of agricultural society. The challenge involves utilizing the benefits of corvée service while resuming productive participation in community life. The morning of departure arrives with a mixture of excitement and melancholy that reflects the complex emotions generated by 4 months of pyramid construction service. As you prepare to leave Giza and return to your family in Medum, You find yourself reluctant to abandon the relationships and routines that have defined your life since arriving at the construction site. The departure process begins before dawn, with a final meal in the workers' dining hall. The men who are completing their corvée service sit together, sharing conversation about home villages, family reunions, and plans for readjusting to agricultural life. The atmosphere combines celebration of survival with sadness, about ending relationships that may never be renewed. Seneb, your foreman and instructor throughout the pyramid service, offers final advice about maintaining the skills developed through construction work and utilizing the experience for future opportunities. His words reflect genuine concern for workers who've earned his respect through competent performance and reliable cooperation. You've learned things here that most Egyptians never understand. He tells your departing group, use that knowledge wisely. Help your villages with construction projects. Train other men in proper techniques. Remember that you've participated in creating something that will last forever. The administrative procedures for departure include final medical examinations, completion of work performance documentation, and receipt of compensation for completed service. The process is efficient but thorough, ensuring that departing workers receive proper treatment while preventing problems that might affect future corvée operations. The medical examination reveals that you've survived pyramid construction with only minor injuries and health problems that should heal completely with rest and proper care. The physician who conducts the examination expresses satisfaction with your physical condition, while providing advice about managing the chronic back pain that affects most construction workers. The work performance documentation includes positive evaluations from Seneb and other supervisors who've observed your reliability, skill development, and cooperation throughout the service period. These records may prove valuable if you ever seek employment on other construction projects or positions requiring demonstrated competence with demanding physical labor. The compensation received for pyramid service includes wages that total approximately twice what you could have earned through agricultural work during the same period. While the amount isn't enormous by urban standards, it represents significant money for a village farmer and will help improve your family's economic situation. The more valuable than immediate monetary compensation are the skills, knowledge, and connections that will influence your future opportunities throughout life. The technical expertise developed through construction work, the social relationships formed with men from throughout Egypt, and the personal confidence gained through surviving extreme challenges represent assets that can't be measured in conventional economic terms. The boat journey down the Nile reverses the route that brought you to Giza 4 months ago, but you experience the familiar landscapes with perspectives that have been fundamentally altered by pyramid construction service. The villages and agricultural areas that line the riverbanks appear small and simple compared to the massive construction project you're leaving behind. The other departing workers share similar feelings of displacement as they observe familiar environments that now seem changed by their own transformation rather than by actual physical alterations. The conversations during the boat journey focus on strategies for readjusting the village life while maintaining the benefits gained through corvée service. As the boat approaches the landing near Medum, you catch sight of the familiar landmarks that have defined your world since childhood. The distinctive shape of the collapsed pyramid that gives the village its name, the date palm groves that line the river, and the irrigation channels that carry water to the agricultural fields all appear exactly as they did when you left 4 months ago. But you realize that your perception of these familiar landscapes has been altered by exposure to the engineering achievements at Giza. The irrigation systems that once seemed impressive now appear simple compared to the construction techniques used for pyramid building. The village buildings that once provided adequate shelter now seem crude compared to the sophisticated architecture you've observed. The reunion with your family takes place at the village landing where Nefret, Keti, and Merit wait with dozens of other families welcoming returning corvée workers. The emotional intensity of the reunion surprises you with its power. The sight of your wife and children, after months of separation, creates feelings that overcome the careful emotional control that pyramid construction required. Nefret's examination of your appearance reveals the physical changes that 4 months of construction work have created. She comments on your increased muscle development, the calluses on your hands, and the weathered appearance that comes from months of exposure to desert sun and stone dust. Your children study you with curiosity and some shyness, as if they're not quite certain that the man who's returned is the same person who left them 4 months ago. Your son Keti, now taller and more mature than when you departed, asks immediate questions about pyramid construction that reveal his fascination with the project's scale and complexity. The walk from the river landing to your family home provides opportunity to observe village life from the perspective of someone who spent months in one of ancient Egypt's most sophisticated environments. The familiar streets and buildings appear unchanged, but your appreciation of their modest scale has been altered by exposure to monumental construction. Your house, which seemed adequate before pyramid service, now appears small and simple compared to the workers' quarters at Giza. The furnishings and household goods that once represented the accumulation of years of careful saving now seem sparse compared to the abundance of resources available for pyramid construction. But the house also provides privacy, family intimacy, and personal control that were impossible in the crowded environment of construction work. The ability to make decisions about daily activities without considering the needs and schedules of thousands of other workers represents a form of freedom that seems precious after months of institutional life. Your first weeks back in Medum reveal both the advantages and challenges of readjusting to village life after pyramid construction service. The familiar routines of agricultural work, family responsibilities, and community relationships require adaptations that prove more complex than anticipated. The physical adjustment to agricultural labor involves retraining muscle groups and movement patterns that have adapted to the specific demands of stone moving. Farming requires different types of strength and endurance than construction work, and your body needs time to readjust to the rhythms and demands of planting, cultivation, and harvest activities. The reduced physical intensity of agricultural work feels almost relaxing compared to the constant demands of moving massive stone blocks. But farming also involves its own forms of expertise and precision that require renewed attention after months away from the land. Your fields have been maintained by your wife and children during your absence, but they require the kind of detailed attention and decision-making that only the primary farmer can provide. Crop selection, irrigation management, and seasonal planning demand knowledge of local conditions and long-term strategy that must be relearned and updated. The social readjustment involves reintegrating into village relationships and community activities that have continued developing during your absence. While 4 months isn't long enough for major changes, the subtle shifts in social dynamics require attention and adaptation. Your perspective on village concerns and conversations has been altered by exposure to the scale and complexity of pyramid construction. Discussions about local issues that once seemed important now appear minor compared to the monumental challenges you've witnessed and helped solve. But you also discover renewed appreciation for the intimate knowledge of local landscapes, seasonal patterns, and family histories that define village life. The deep understanding of particular places and people that characterizes rural communities provides satisfactions that complement rather than compete with the achievements of pyramid service. The economic benefits of corvée service become apparent through improved family financial situation and enhanced opportunities for future advancement. The wages earned through construction work provide resources for purchasing tools, livestock, and other investments that improve agricultural productivity. More importantly, the skills and knowledge gained through pyramid service create opportunities for additional income through construction projects in surrounding villages. Your expertise with measurement techniques, material handling, and project coordination makes you valuable for building houses, storage facilities, and other structures that require technical competence. The social connections formed with workers from throughout Egypt begin to provide practical benefits through trade relationships, information exchange, and mutual assistance opportunities. Several men from your pyramid work teams have remained in contact, creating networks that extend far beyond normal village boundaries. Your enhanced status within village social hierarchies reflects both the prestige associated with pyramid service and the demonstrated competence that corvée duty represents. Community members recognize that pyramid workers have proved their reliability and skill under demanding conditions. This recognition translates into leadership opportunities within village decision-making processes and increased influence in community planning activities. Your opinions about construction projects, resource management, and organizational issues carry weight that reflects your demonstrated expertise and experience. The educational value of pyramid service becomes apparent through your ability to help village children and young adults understand mathematical concepts, construction principles, and organizational methods that were previously unavailable in rural communities. Your descriptions of pyramid construction techniques, engineering achievements, and organizational systems provide educational opportunities that expand villagers' understanding of Egyptian civilization's capabilities and complexity. The religious perspectives gained through pyramid service, including exposure to the spiritual significance of royal burial and astronomical alignments, enrich your participation in village religious activities while providing insights into the relationship between local and royal religious practices. But the readjustment also includes challenges that require ongoing attention and management. The psychological impacts of pyramid service, including anxiety about physical safety and difficulty with concentration, occasionally interfere with daily activities and family relationships. The contrast between the historical significance of pyramid construction and the routine concerns of village life sometimes creates feelings of restlessness and dissatisfaction that must be balanced against appreciation for family security and community stability. The physical consequences of pyramid service, including chronic back pain and joint problems, represent ongoing reminders of the costs involved in monumental construction. These health issues require management through modified work techniques and careful attention to physical limitations. The knowledge gained about royal power and social organization, including awareness of the human costs involved in monumental projects, provides perspectives on Egyptian society that are sometimes disturbing and difficult to reconcile with traditional beliefs about divine kingship and social hierarchy. 6 months after returning from pyramid construction service, you've achieved a new equilibrium that integrates the transformative experiences of Giza with the continuing requirements and opportunities of village life. The process of integration has proven more complex and rewarding than initially anticipated. The agricultural activities that define your primary occupation have benefited significantly from the technical skills and organizational experience gained through pyramid service. Your understanding of measurement techniques, project coordination, and resource management has improved both the efficiency and the quality of your farming operations. The construction expertise developed at Giza has created opportunities for additional income through building projects throughout the region. You've supervised the construction of 3 houses, 2 granaries, and a small temple addition, earning compensation that significantly exceeds what agricultural work alone could provide. These construction projects also provide opportunities to share knowledge and train other villagers in improved building techniques. The skills you've developed represent valuable community resources that benefit everyone through better constructed buildings and more efficient construction processes. The social connections formed with pyramid workers from throughout Egypt continue to provide practical benefits through trade relationships, information exchange, and mutual assistance. These networks have facilitated grain purchases during local shortages, provided information about market conditions in distant regions, and created opportunities for your son's education. Your enhanced status within village social hierarchies has translated into leadership roles that utilize the organizational and decision-making skills developed through pyramid service. You've been elected to the village council and appointed to coordinate community response to flooding problems that required technical expertise and project management capabilities. The educational opportunities created by your pyramid experience have benefited not only your own family, but also other village children who've learned mathematical concepts, construction principles, and organizational methods through informal instruction and demonstration. Your descriptions of pyramid construction have become popular entertainment at village gatherings while providing educational content that expands community understanding of Egyptian civilization's achievements and complexity. The religious insights gained through pyramid service have enriched your participation in village spiritual life, while providing perspectives on the relationship between local religious practices and the royal religious traditions associated with monumental construction. But the integration has also required ongoing attention to the psychological and physical consequences of pyramid service. The chronic back pain that affects most construction workers requires careful management through modified work techniques and attention to physical limitations. The occasional episodes of anxiety and concentration difficulties that result from exposure to extreme stress and danger require recognition and accommodation within family and community relationships. The knowledge gained about royal power, social organization, and the human costs of monumental projects continues to influence your perspectives on Egyptian society in ways that sometimes create tension with traditional beliefs and expectations. The contrast between the historical significance of pyramid construction and the routine concerns of village life occasionally generates feelings of restlessness that must be balanced against appreciation for family security and community stability. But overall, the integration has proven successful in ways that provide both personal satisfaction and community benefit. The transformation achieved through pyramid service has enhanced rather than disrupted your capacity for productive participation in village life. The skills, knowledge, and perspectives gained at Giza have created opportunities for economic advancement, social leadership, and cultural contribution that weren't available before corvée service. Most importantly, the experience has provided understanding of human capabilities and historical significance that enriches daily life with appreciation for both individual achievement and collective accomplishment. The knowledge that you've participated in creating one of humanity's most enduring monuments provides psychological satisfaction that transcends immediate practical concerns while contributing to a sense of purpose and meaning that influences all aspects of life. The relationships formed through shared danger and mutual dependence have created social connections that extend far beyond pyramid construction site while providing models for cooperation and mutual support that benefit village life. The physical and psychological challenges overcome through pyramid service have revealed personal capabilities and sources of strength that influence confidence and resilience in all future challenges. 2 years after your return from pyramid construction, the long-term consequences of your corvée service continue to influence not only your own life, but also the development of your village and the broader region. The skills, knowledge, and Connections gained at Giza have created ripple effects that extend far beyond individual achievement. Your agricultural operations have become models of efficiency and innovation that other farmers study and emulate. The organizational principles learned through pyramid construction have improved both the productivity and the sustainability of your farming activities while reducing labor requirements and increasing yields. The construction expertise you shared has contributed to significant improvements in village infrastructure and building quality. Houses built using techniques adapted from pyramid construction prove more durable, comfortable, and efficient than traditional structures while requiring less maintenance and repair. The mathematical knowledge gained through pyramid service has enhanced your ability to calculate land areas, estimate crop yields, and plan resource allocation with precision that improves both individual and community economic outcomes. Your son Kedi has benefited enormously from the educational opportunities created by your pyramid experience. His mathematical skills exceed those of most adults in the region, and his understanding of construction principles has prepared him for opportunities that wouldn't have been available to the son of an ordinary farmer. Kedi's education has progressed to the point where he may qualify for advanced training as a scribe or administrator opportunities that could provide social and economic advancement that transforms your family's status for generations to come. The social connections maintained with other pyramid workers have facilitated trade relationships that benefit not only your family, but also other village members who've gained access to goods and information from distant regions. These networks have provided early warning about weather patterns, market conditions, and political developments that affect agricultural planning and economic decision-making throughout the region. The leadership roles you've assumed within village governance have utilized the organizational and communication skills developed through pyramid service while providing opportunities to influence community development in positive directions. Your coordination of flood control projects has prevented significant agricultural damage while demonstrating the practical value of the engineering principles learned at Giza. The religious insights gained through pyramid service have enriched spiritual life within the village, while providing perspectives on the relationship between local and royal religious traditions that enhance community understanding of Egyptian culture. Your descriptions of pyramid construction continue to provide entertainment and education that expand villagers' appreciation for the achievements and complexity of Egyptian civilization. But the long-term consequences also include ongoing challenges that require continued attention and management. The physical demands of pyramid construction have created health problems that affect your capacity for heavy agricultural work and require adaptation of farming techniques. The psychological impacts of extreme stress and exposure to danger occasionally interfere with family relationships and community activities in ways that require understanding and accommodation from others. The knowledge gained about royal power and social organization has created perspectives that sometimes conflict with traditional beliefs and expectations, requiring careful balance between expressing new insights and maintaining community harmony. The enhanced expectations that result from demonstrated competence and leadership capability create pressures for continued achievement that can be difficult to maintain while managing the ongoing demands of agricultural life. The success achieved through utilizing pyramid experience has attracted attention from regional authorities, who occasionally request your services for projects that require technical expertise or organizational capability, creating opportunities, but also additional responsibilities. These requests have included supervision of construction projects in other villages, consultation on irrigation problems, and participation in regional planning activities that utilize your knowledge, while contributing to broader community development. The economic success resulting from construction expertise and improved agricultural techniques has improved your family's social status while creating expectations for continued advancement that influence decisions about investments, education, and future planning. The enhanced social position has provided opportunities for advantageous marriages for your children, improved access to credit and resources, and influence within regional social networks that extend far beyond village boundaries. But success has also created obligations to share knowledge and resources with community members, while maintaining the humility and cooperation that ensure continued acceptance within village social structures. The balance between personal advancement and community contribution requires ongoing attention to ensure that individual success contributes to rather than detracts from collective welfare. The long-term perspective gained through pyramid service continues to influence decision-making about family, community, and economic issues in ways that emphasize sustainability and long-term benefit rather than short-term advantage. The understanding of historical significance and human achievement provides psychological satisfaction that transcends immediate, practical concerns while contributing to a sense of purpose that enriches all aspects of life. 5 years after your return from pyramid construction, the most significant long-term impact involves the opportunities created for your children and their generation. The knowledge, skills, and connections gained through corvée service have opened pathways for social and economic advancement that transform your family's prospects for the future. Your son Keti, now 17, has demonstrated mathematical and organizational abilities that qualify him for advanced education and professional opportunities that would have been impossible without your pyramid experience. His training as a scribe has progressed to the point where he may soon qualify for positions within regional administrative systems. The mathematical concepts and construction principles that you learned at Giza and shared with Keti have provided him with educational foundations that exceed those available to most young men from agricultural families. His understanding of geometry, measurement, and engineering gives him capabilities that are valued by royal administrators and wealthy landowners. Keti's literacy skills, enhanced by his mathematical education, have progressed beyond basic reading and writing to include the complex accounting and correspondence techniques required for administrative positions. These capabilities could provide lifetime employment opportunities that offer both economic security and social advancement. Your daughter Merit, now 14, has also benefited from the educational opportunities created by your pyramid service. While traditional female roles don't normally include advanced mathematical training, her understanding of calculation and measurement techniques provides practical skills that enhance her value as a potential wife and household manager. Merits: education in construction principles and project organization has prepared her to manage complex household operations and to supervise building projects with competence that exceeds traditional female capabilities. These skills could provide opportunities for unusual independence and influence within whatever marriage arrangements develop. The enhanced social status resulting from your pyramid service has attracted favorable attention for both children from families seeking advantageous marriage alliances. The demonstrations of competence, reliability, and social advancement that corvée duty represents make your family attractive partners for other ambitious agricultural families. But more importantly, the knowledge and connections gained through pyramid service have created opportunities for your children to transcend the social and economic limitations that would normally constrain farmers' children throughout their lives. Keti's mathematical and administrative training has already attracted attention from regional officials who recruit capable young men for positions within governmental and temple bureaucracies. These opportunities could provide steady employment, social advancement, and economic security that exceed anything available through agricultural work. Merit's enhanced education and family status have created possibilities for marriage to young men from merchant, craft, or administrative families that would provide social advancement while maintaining economic security. The professional networks developed through your pyramid service continue to provide information about opportunities for education, employment, and advancement that aren't normally available to rural families. These connections have facilitated Keddy's access to advanced training opportunities while providing Merit with exposure to social environments that expand her understanding of possibilities beyond traditional village life. The economic success resulting from construction expertise and improved agricultural techniques has provided resources for investments in your children's education and social advancement that wouldn't have been possible without pyramid service. The enhanced financial position has allowed you to provide Keddy with the materials, instruction, and social connections required for advanced scribal training while supporting Merit's education in household management and social skills. The understanding of Egyptian society's complexity and diversity gained through pyramid service has prepared you to guide your children's development in ways that take advantage of opportunities while avoiding potential problems. Your knowledge of bureaucratic systems, social hierarchies, and regional variations helps you make informed decisions about education, career development, and marriage arrangements that optimize your children's prospects for success. The long-term perspective gained through participation in historically significant achievement has influenced your approach to child-rearing in ways that emphasize preparation for lifetime challenges rather than immediate gratification. The understanding that individual effort and competence can produce extraordinary results has motivated your investment in your children's development while providing them with confidence that their own efforts can create opportunities for continued advancement. But the enhanced expectations and opportunities also create challenges that require careful management. The social advancement made possible by pyramid service creates pressures for continued achievement that can be difficult for the next generation to maintain. Your children's enhanced education and social position have created expectations for lifestyle and achievement that may be difficult to sustain while maintaining the values and relationships that ensure community, acceptance, and personal satisfaction. The balance between ambition and contentment, between individual advancement and family security, requires ongoing attention as your children mature and make their own decisions about careers, marriages, and life goals. The knowledge that extraordinary achievement is possible through exceptional effort and opportunity has created both motivation and pressure that influence your children's development in ways that could be either beneficial or problematic. 10 years after your return from pyramid construction, the completion of Pharaoh Khufu's Great Pyramid provides opportunity to assess the historical significance of your participation in one of humanity's most remarkable achievements. The monument that cost so much human effort and sacrifice has indeed become what it was intended to be, an eternal symbol of royal power and divine authority that will endure for millennia. The pyramid stands 481 feet tall, built from over 2 million limestone blocks, with internal chambers and passages that demonstrate engineering capabilities that won't be matched again for thousands of years. The precision of its construction, the sophistication of its design, and the scale of resources required for its completion represent achievements that exceed anything else in the ancient world. Your role in creating this monument, while individually small, was essential to its completion. The limestone blocks that you helped move from harbor to ramps to final positions are literally built into the structure that will be visible from space when humanity develops the technology for orbital flight. The techniques you learned for coordinating team efforts, managing massive weights, and achieving precision under demanding conditions contributed to construction methods that represent the pinnacle of ancient engineering achievement. The knowledge you gain participates in humanity's accumulation of technical expertise that builds across generations. The organizational principles demonstrated through pyramid construction, the coordination of tens of thousands of workers, the management of complex logistical challenges, and the integration of diverse skills and capabilities provide models for collective achievement that influence social development throughout Egyptian civilization. But the historical significance of your pyramid experience extends beyond its contribution to a specific monument. The skills, knowledge, and perspectives gained through corvée service have influenced your family, your village, and your region in ways that multiply the impact of individual participation. The construction techniques you've shared have improved building quality throughout the area while reducing costs and increasing durability. The mathematical knowledge you've transmitted has enhanced agricultural productivity, trade calculations, and resource management for dozens of families. The organizational methods you've demonstrated have influenced community decision-making, project coordination, and collective problem-solving in ways that benefit everyone, while creating capabilities for more complex future undertakings. The social connections you've maintained with other pyramid workers have created information and trade networks that span the entire kingdom while providing mutual assistance and cultural exchange that enriches regional development. The educational opportunities you've created for your children and other village young people has enhanced human capital in ways that will influence economic and social development for generations to come. The leadership skills you've developed have contributed to community governance and regional coordination that improves collective welfare, while creating precedents for democratic participation and shared decision-making. The historical perspective gained through participation in monumental construction has provided understanding of human capabilities and social organization that influences your approach to all challenges and opportunities. The knowledge that ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things through cooperation, persistence, and acceptance of reasonable risks has created confidence and ambition that extends far beyond construction work to influence all aspects of personal and community development. The understanding that individual effort and competence can produce results that endure for millennia has motivated investment in quality, sustainability, and long-term benefit rather than short-term convenience or immediate gratification. But the historical assessment also includes recognition of the human costs involved in monumental achievement. The deaths and injuries that made pyramid construction possible represent sacrifices that must be acknowledged and honored even while celebrating the monument's completion. The 6 men from your village group who died during pyramid service gave their lives for achievements that will outlast every civilization that follows ancient Egypt. Their contribution to human accomplishment deserves remembrance and respect that honors their sacrifice while recognizing the price of extraordinary achievement. The thousands of workers who suffered injuries, health problems, and psychological trauma during pyramid construction paid personal costs that enable collective accomplishment of unprecedented scale and durability. The families who lost fathers, sons, and brothers to pyramid construction endured private grief to support public achievement that demonstrates humanity's capacity for creating monuments that transcend individual mortality. The historical perspective requires balancing appreciation for remarkable achievement against recognition of the costs involved while understanding that both the accomplishments and the sacrifices contribute to humanity's ongoing development. The Great Pyramid represents both an inspiring demonstration of human capability and a sobering reminder of the prices that extraordinary achievement sometimes demands. The monument's endurance validates the sacrifices made for its construction, while creating responsibilities for current and future generations to ensure that such achievements serve worthy purposes. Your participation in pyramid construction has provided not only personal transformation and family advancement, but also contribution to human civilization's accumulation of knowledge, capability, and achievement that influences all subsequent development. 15 years after your return from pyramid construction, you've reached an age and level of experience that provides perspective on the full meaning and impact of your corvée service. The young farmer who left Medum to serve Pharaoh Khufu has become a respected community leader whose insights and capabilities continue to influence regional development. The physical consequences of pyramid service remain visible in your weathered hands, your careful movements that accommodate chronic back pain, and your muscular build that still reflects years of moving massive stone blocks. But these physical markers represent more than simply the costs of demanding labor. They're badges of honor that identify you as someone who participated in creating one of humanity's most enduring achievements. The technical skills developed through pyramid construction continue to provide economic opportunities and community benefits that extend far beyond their original context. Your expertise with measurement, calculation, and project coordination has influenced dozens of construction projects throughout the region while improving the quality and efficiency of building techniques. The mathematical knowledge gained at Giza has enhanced not only your own agricultural operations, but also the productivity and profitability of farming throughout the village. Your understanding of geometric principles, area calculation, and resource optimization has contributed to innovations that benefit everyone while creating prosperity that supports community development. The organizational skills learned through coordinating massive construction teams have proven invaluable for community leadership, regional planning, and collaborative problem solving that addresses challenges too complex for individual solutions. Your service on the village council has utilized the decision-making experience gained through pyramid construction while providing opportunities to influence local development in ways that improve collective welfare. The social connections maintained with other pyramid workers have evolved into professional and personal relationships that continue to provide mutual benefit through trade, information exchange, and collaborative opportunities. These networks have facilitated economic partnerships, educational exchanges, and cultural connections that enrich community life while creating capabilities for more ambitious future projects. The educational legacy of your pyramid experience has proven perhaps most valuable of all. Your son Kedi has completed his scribal training and secured a position within the regional administrative system that provides economic security and social advancement beyond anything possible through agricultural work alone. Your daughter, Merit, has married into a merchant family whose connections and resources provide opportunities for continued social advancement while maintaining the values and relationships that ensure personal satisfaction and community acceptance. The younger generation in your village has benefited from informal education in mathematical concepts, construction principles, and organizational methods that enhance their capabilities, while preparing them for opportunities that wouldn't have been available to previous generations. The ripple effects of enhanced education continue to expand as young people who've learned advanced skills share their knowledge with others while pursuing opportunities for further development and advancement. But perhaps most important is the wisdom gained through surviving and learning from extreme challenges that tested every aspect of personal capability and character. The pyramid experience has provided insights into human nature, social organization, and individual potential that influence all subsequent decisions and relationships. The understanding that ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things through cooperation, persistence, and mutual support has created confidence that extends far beyond construction work to influence approaches to all challenges and opportunities. The knowledge that individual competence and reliability can earn recognition and advancement, regardless of social background, has motivated continued learning and development while providing hope for future achievement. The appreciation for the fee and value of planning, preparation, and attention to detail gained through precision construction work has improved decision-making about family, business, and community issues, while reducing risks and increasing success rates. The understanding of the importance of teamwork, communication, and mutual dependence developed through coordinating dangerous group activities has enhanced leadership capabilities while improving relationships in all contexts. The perspective on mortality and meaning gained through exposure to death and injury has clarified priorities while motivating investment in activities and relationships that provide lasting value rather than temporary satisfaction. The recognition that personal achievement gains significance through contribution to collective welfare has influenced choices about how to use skills, knowledge, and resources in ways that benefit others, while creating legacies that extend beyond individual lifetime. But the wisdom also includes understanding of limitations and costs that must be acknowledged and managed. The physical and psychological consequences of extreme challenges require ongoing attention, while the enhanced expectations that result from demonstrated competence create pressures that must be balanced against realistic assessment of capabilities. The knowledge of social organization and power relationships gained through pyramid service has provided insights into Egyptian society that sometimes conflict with traditional beliefs, while creating responsibilities to use understanding wisely rather than cynically. The enhanced social status resulting from pyramid service has created opportunities, but also obligations to maintain standards of competence and integrity that justify community trust and confidence. The economic success achieved through utilizing pyramid experience has improved family circumstances, while creating expectations for continued achievement that influence decisions about investments, career development, and future planning. The long-term perspective gained through participation in historically significant achievement has created appreciation for the enduring value of quality work, ethical behavior, and collaborative effort, while providing motivation for activities that contribute to rather than detract from human civilization's development. The accumulation of wisdom gained through pyramid experience continues to influence daily decisions while providing foundations for continued learning and development that benefit both individual fulfillment and community welfare. 20 years after your pyramid service, as you approach the end of your active working life, the Great Pyramid has taken its place as one of the most recognizable symbols of human achievement in the ancient world. Travelers from throughout the Mediterranean region journey to Giza to witness the monument that you helped create, and their accounts spread knowledge of Egyptian engineering capabilities to distant civilizations. The pyramid that cost so much human effort and sacrifice has indeed fulfilled its purpose as an eternal testament to Pharaoh Khufu's divine power and the capabilities of Egyptian civilization. But for you, the monument represents something more personal and profound: evidence that ordinary people can contribute to achievements that transcend individual mortality and create legacies that endure for millennia. Standing in your fields during the evening hours, you can sometimes glimpse the pyramid's apex catching the last rays of sunset, visible even at this distance as a geometric silhouette against the western sky. The sight never fails to evoke memories of the months when that distant monument was your daily reality, and your contribution to its construction was the focus of every waking hour. The physical structure that dominates the dune, the Boishan that dominates the Giza Plateau, represents more than just an impressive pile of stone blocks. It's a synthesis of mathematical knowledge, engineering expertise, organizational capability, and human determination that demonstrates what can be accomplished when individual skills are coordinated towards shared goals. Every limestone block in the pyramid's core was moved and positioned by teams of workers like yourself, using techniques and coordination that required months of practice to master. The precision visible in the monument's finished surfaces reflects countless hours of careful measurement, adjustment, and quality control performed by craftsmen who understood that their work would be judged by standards that demanded perfection. The internal chambers and passages that house Pharaoh Khufu's burial equipment represent engineering achievements that push ancient technology to its absolute limits. The granite blocks that form these spaces, some weighing over 80 tons, required transportation and positioning, techniques that won't be matched again until the development of modern construction equipment. But your contribution to this achievement extends beyond the specific stones that you helped move or the construction techniques that you helped implement. Your participation was part of a collective effort that demonstrated humanity's capacity for organizing complex projects, coordinating diverse skills, and sustaining difficult work over extended periods. The organizational principles that made pyramid construction possible, the coordination of tens of thousands of workers, the management of complex logistical challenges, and the integration of technical expertise with manual labor provide models for collective achievement that continue to influence Egyptian society. The educational value of pyramid construction, including the technical skills, mathematical knowledge, and organizational capabilities that workers like yourself carried back to villages throughout Egypt, has contributed to improvements in agriculture, construction, and community development to benefit everyone. The social connections created through pyramid service have established networks of mutual assistance, trade relationships, and cultural exchange that span the entire kingdom while creating capabilities for more complex future projects. The individual transformations achieved through surviving and learning from extreme challenges have enhanced human resources throughout Egyptian society, while creating leadership capabilities that improve governance and community development. Your own life provides evidence of these broader impacts. The skills and knowledge gained through pyramid service have influenced not only your personal achievements, but also your family's advancement, your community's development, and your region's prosperity. The construction expertise that you've shared has improved building quality throughout the area while reducing costs and increasing durability. The mathematical knowledge that you've transmitted has enhanced agricultural productivity while creating educational opportunities for the next generation. The organizational skills that you've demonstrated have influenced community decision-making while creating capabilities for collaborative problem-solving that addresses challenges too complex for individual solutions. The social connections that you've maintained have facilitated economic partnerships and cultural exchanges that enrich community life while providing opportunities for continued development and advancement. But perhaps most importantly, your pyramid experience has demonstrated that individual effort and competence can produce results that endure far beyond personal lifetime while contributing to human civilizations, accumulation of knowledge, and capability. The Great Pyramid will stand for thousands of years, outlasting every person who contributed to its construction but preserving evidence of their collective achievement. Future civilizations will study the monument's design and construction techniques while marveling at the organizational capabilities that made such an achievement possible. The mathematical relationships built into the pyramid's proportions will influence architectural development for centuries while demonstrating the sophisticated knowledge that ancient Egyptian civilization possessed. The engineering techniques used in its construction will provide models for future projects, while establishing standards for precision and quality that inspire continued advancement. The organizational methods developed for coordinating massive construction projects will influence administrative systems throughout the ancient world while providing precedents for collective effort that transcend cultural and political boundaries. Your individual contribution to this enduring legacy may have been small, but it was essential to the monument's completion. Without the willing service of thousands of workers like yourself, the Great Pyramid could never have been built. And humanity would have been deprived of one of its most inspiring examples of what collective effort can accomplish. The knowledge that you participated in creating something that will be remembered and admired as long as human civilization exists provides satisfaction that transcends any temporary hardships or personal costs involved in its construction. The understanding that your labor contributed to achievements that demonstrate humanity's highest capabilities gives meaning to life that extends far beyond individual concerns, while connecting your personal story to the broader narrative of human development and progress. As you watch the last light fade from the pyramid's distant silhouette, you reflect on the remarkable journey that carried a simple farmer from medium to participation in one of history's most extraordinary projects. The transformation achieved through that experience has influenced every subsequent day of your life, while creating legacies that will continue to benefit future generations. The silence of the evening desert carries your thoughts back across the years to the sounds and sights of pyramid construction, the grinding of massive stone blocks against wooden sledges, the coordinated chants of work teams maintaining rhythm during difficult lifts, the satisfied conversations of workers who'd successfully completed another day's contribution to humanity's most ambitious project. Tomorrow will bring the familiar routines of agricultural life that have sustained you and your family throughout the years since your return from Giza. But tonight, as you prepare for sleep in the modest house the pyramid service helped you improve and expand, you carry the knowledge that you've participated in creating something eternal. The Great Pyramid stands tonight, as it will stand for millennia to come, a monument to human ambition, capability, and determination that transforms individual mortality into collective immortality. And somewhere within its massive structure, built permanently into stone that will outlast empires, is the contribution of a farmer from Medum who answered his Pharaoh's call and helped build eternity. The sound of the wind through your date palms carries whispers of that distant construction site where ordinary men accomplished extraordinary things through cooperation, skill, and unwavering commitment to a shared vision. And in that sound, you hear the eternal echo of human achievement that transforms even the most dangerous and demanding work into legacy that enriches all of human civilization for generations yet to come.